repeat more on Halo Talks NYC. I have the pleasure of having Lee Spieker, Railyard Fitness from Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome to your first Halo Talks.
Hey, Pete, thank you. Appreciate the offer to be here.
Awesome. Well, you've been a listener, so you know what we're up to. And we're trying to make sure that we solve obesity and loneliness. So you're a helpful part of that equation, given your obstacle courses, getting people moving, and you've got a illustrious career in providing fitness related products to the world. So why don't you first start off, give us your background, and then let's talk about how we're going to change the future.
I'll be happy to. I was originally got out of college, ended up working with my dad, had an opportunity to buy a boxing equipment company called Toughwear. So my first 6 years in the sports and fitness business was as a manufacturer. I designed and built boxing equipment for professional and amateur athletes. After I left that, I turned into a sales rep in Denver, Colorado, and started representing my first fitness company was Weeder Products. And while I was selling that, the weight plates, figured out we needed a better distribution system for iron. So I started a wholesaler for Weeder Products that turned into a retail store. The retail store, Advanced Exercise Products, turned into 5 retail stores. Mm-hmm. We became one of the bigger distributors for Universal Gym Equipment at the time. We needed a showroom, so we started a health club. So I've been partner in 2 health clubs. After that, one of the health clubs, high impact aerobics was starting to hurt people. So I brought the ring padding that I designed for boxing rings and brought it into the aerobics room. That became the first sports specific aerobic conditioning floor, a RoboFloor, which got me introduced to all the fitness people and AFA and IDEA when they were just starting up. And I kind of said, yeah, okay, Jane Fonda was doing videos. And I said, all these originators, the originating people that were creating aerobics, I said, you guys ought to be on video. So I started a video company called Fit Video and produced over 100 exercise videos.
Nice.
The ones that most people remember these days are the Buns of Steel workouts.
Sure.
So we sold a lot of Buns of Steel workouts. I did the Nutrisystems workouts, sold 5 million of those, which took me into something I'd had a passion for. And I always felt that there was a need for kids exercise. Mm-hmm. So my first thing with kids, I started the stackable steps, these little blue and green steps you find all over the place.
Sure.
I designed those when the step company, Step Reebok, started off.
Was that back with Rich Boggs back in the day?
Yes, I was. Rich was one of my floor distributors.
That's funny.
And,
small world.
Yeah. So Rich called me and says, hey, I got this step idea that somebody, Jen Miller, in Atlanta had come up with. And he and I were talking about that. He went on his way. Mm-hmm. But I thought, they're too expensive. I designed something to go into schools, which was less expensive and stackable so they could store it. So I, created that step product. And then I came across, about 13 years ago, I was doing a consulting job for a group out of San Diego called the Egoscue method. And they had a sports conditioning method of jumping around on logs. And it was kind of based on the exercise programs that come out of the European countries 40, 50 years ago, which is now becoming the functional fitness movement. But
the functional fitness movement was here before then, is what you're saying.
Oh,
this isn't a new idea.
No, it's the original fitness. Yeah,
it's the original idea that's now back again. Fitness. What do you know? Like bell-bottom jeans.
That's it. And I was asked to go out and if I wanted to join a workout in San Diego. And this is the most difficult thing I'd ever done. And I had done everything. Mm-hmm. Just jumping around on this set of logs they called the patch.
Mm-hmm.
When I got done with this, I'm going, kids would love this thing. And if I could design it so it could be portable and you could stack it, schools would love this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which then that led to the Railyard obstacle course. So it's blogs and platforms that you can set up in various configurations, and you can do all these functional movements, bear crawls, inchworms, vaults, all this stuff, and you can do it in an elevated space on an incline or a decline, on a round side or a flat side. And over the past 12 years, we've put 1,000 of these things in schools and health clubs and training facilities all over the world.
So on the school side, and I was back at my old high school and elementary school, had to have been out 6 months ago, and I felt like I was in a time warp, and not much has changed and not much has improved. So my question is, do these schools have the budget to make these purchases off of their physical education budget? Is it an opportunity for a PTA or a donor? Is there an ability to get a company to sponsor it, or is that shunned upon because you're marketing your name to kids? How do we get this from 1,000, sales to 10,000, where every obstacle course is readily available to every kid that, wants to be trying to get physically active?
Here's and it's a multi-pronged challenge. One is during some of the previous administrations, there was a focus on physical education in schools. So we, the people, the citizens, provided grant funding, which was under the form of the PEP grants, Physical Education for Progress grants. And that was our heyday. And as soon as those were discontinued about 6 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
they came up with the new Every Student Succeeds Act, which elevated physical education to the same level as math and science, which gave PE access to block grants, which the whole industry is going, okay, we've really achieved something. The current philosophy is not to fund these things whatsoever. So there is no money in physical education. Teachers who really believe in this can go out and find the money, and that's what we work with today. There are nonprofits, NGOs that have funding for schools. They can raise money through service groups who will raise money for them. These courses, you put them in, they'll last for 100 years. So generations of kids will get access to it. Mm-hmm. But I think one of the real challenges is most adults in this country really don't understand the value of exercise for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, virtually all the media, and I get copies of every article that's written about kids' fitness, kids' exercise, youth activities, and the majority of them all talk about obesity as an issue. Well, obesity represents about 20, depending on where you are in the country. In Tennessee, it's 30% of the kids are obese. Nationally, it's like 20%. Well, half of the parents of obese kids don't think their kids are obese. Half of the parents of obese kids are obese themselves.
Right.
So convincing parents to be the champions of fitness in their household is what we as a society have been trying to do for over 30 years, and it just keeps getting worse. So doing the same thing over and over again, as we know what that amounts to. So my thought process was that if America's parents understood, and this is all science now, this isn't just making this stuff up.
Sure.
Kids who exercise an hour a day will do up to 40% better on tests in schools. They've shown that kids who exercise an hour a day behave better, and they've reduced disciplinary issues in schools by up to 40%. Kids who exercise an hour a day have less stress, make better food choices.
Where are these stats from?
These are studies that have been done throughout the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
And at onehouraday.org, I put links to them all.
Got it. Okay.
There was a book written by a PhD out of Harvard called Spark, The Revolutionary New Science of Exercise in the Brain.
Yep.
It all went through why exercise, how it affects the metabolism, creates a protein called brain-derived neurotropic factor. When present in the brain, promotes growth, neuron connectivity, brain plasticity, and all this crosses the midlines of the brain, and it promotes physical skill development. So all of this exercise. Now, if parents understood all these ancillary benefits that affect them personally right now today, if their kids behave better, that should go, hey, if my kids behave better, what do I have to do that?
Right.
All they have to do is go down to their school principal and say, hey, my kid gets an hour of exercise every day, or I'm going to raise hell. Every principal I've ever talked to, and I've done workshops in virtually every state in America, and when I talk to the principals, they all go, if 20% of the parents come in here and demand something, I have to do it.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever think about, is there a need? I just bought some Girl Scout cookies by accident last week because somebody wanted me to. But is there a fundraiser that should be done to fund these obstacle courses in schools, or should there be some mandatory allocation? How do we solve the budgeting problem, or is the pushback on your sales related to somebody saying, "Oh, I've got something similar to this, so we don't need a Railyard product or course"? I want to understand what are the obstacles for you?
Mine is, and I do have a more expensive product. And so my entire philosophy here is not to sell my product, but to promote exercise for kids. If every kid in America was exercising, got access to an hour of exercise every day, I would automatically, I've got one of the very few real, honest to God, movement exercise products that develop speed and strength and balance and coordination and agility all at the same time, promoting global movement that kids really like to do. Mm-hmm. The other objects of sports related activities, game related activities, they all make perfect sense. But we can all raise we just need to get every kid involved in exercise. And one of my things with the fitness industry is what I would really love to see is the fitness industry start looking at kids from a fiduciary standpoint. Kids are the future exercise consumers of the fitness industry. Mm-hmm. Sophisticated industries do what they can to introduce their products to kids. Just got to look at NFL Play 60. The NFL, yep, sure. Their entire program is to introduce football to kids. It has nothing to do with exercise. They just want these kids to grow up to be football fans. Mm-hmm. So the fitness industry wanted these kids to grow up to be health club members, personal training clients, consumers for fitness things, fitness products. What could we do as an industry to help introduce our product to kids? And I think the industry, we had a spokesperson, a champion of fitness. If one of the trade associations were to take this on and just pull the industry together, because the fitness industry's got a lot of influence.
Yeah. The interesting part about going into a health club, and I've toured more health clubs a year than I work out in, unfortunately, but I probably toured 1,500 health clubs. And you have a daycare area, which is, a bunch of kids, 2 to 6, coloring or maybe playing some Nintendo game or going through a little bounce house. Then you've got the adults. And there's only been a couple of clubs where I've seen that instead of having a child care area or a daycare area, they actually have functional fitness area geared towards, let's say 6 to 16.
Right.
And no one is really allocating that space. There's actually a UFC fitness gym in B-side, New York that I understand has 800 kids that are on a monthly membership. So it's an extra, I want to say $30,000 or $40,000 per month. And these kids actually have their own section where there's a real, health club environment there instead of, an area that looks like it's for, 3-year-olds. Other than that, I haven't really seen a widespread proliferation of, catering toward the next generation of health club member.
No, and you're absolutely right. And that there's that lack of programming from once they get out of that daycare to where we'll actually let them in the weight rooms and they become members. So that particular facility went out, and I would suspect they went out and they told the parents of the value of kids exercise. So this is back to an education standpoint. If health clubs as an industry were to educate, go out and say, okay, mom and dad, if your kid gets an hour of exercise every day, it will address their health and well-being. It'll increase their physical skills so they'll play safer and they'll play sports more effectively and efficiently. They'll have more fun at it, but they'll also score better in school. They'll behave better. They'll have all these other future benefits. Now, all of a sudden, kids' exercise has value because in order to get a parent to pay for something, they have to think that it's got value to them. And Unfortunately, most parents really don't understand because nobody's told them that kids who exercise, skinny kids who exercise, score better in school, do better in school, and have higher self-esteem because they feel more comfortable moving through space. They're less likely to be bullied because of their higher self-esteem. They're less likely to be a bully because of higher self-esteem. So you've got all these ancillary benefits that nobody is really telling anybody about. I've looked for and have approached celebrities and corporations for 10 years trying to find somebody who would become the champion of fitness for kids. If you think about it, there is no national spokesperson talking about kids exercise. There just isn't anybody.
Yeah. Well, it was about, I think they had a pretty good White House initiative back during the Obama administration. I feel like that whole exercise PR campaign is gone.
Yeah. The Let's Move program was not funded by the government. It was underwritten by the Dairy Council and NFL Play 60. And anytime you saw the exercise portion of Let's Move, Michelle Obama or somebody out doing it, you actually saw the NFL, and they were hitting tackling dummies or running and catching passes.
Right.
It's cool. It really doesn't promote general overall fitness or exercise.
Fair point. So
as a society, if we were to go out and implement this, we could do this. And here's one of from a money standpoint, if you think about it, if kids in America got healthy, who would make money? The pharmaceutical industry wouldn't, medical industry wouldn't, the fast food industry wouldn't, the fitness industry can. So very few industries that stand to gain and benefit monetarily by creating a healthier generation. I've got videos of kids who and their parents where the parents go, my kid exercises every day in school, and she came home and she demanded that the family join health club.
Yep.
Kids have extraordinary impact on family behavior. If kids in schools were getting an hour of exercise every day, and they can do this in the classroom for free, you don't need products.
The benefit of kids doing that is that they typically have no filter. So they'll just come home every night and say the same damn thing, which is great for us, right? They're like built-in evangelists on a daily recorder, almost like an Alexa. Like, you got to join a health club. I can see my nephew doing that.
And
being like, I'm all right. This is what we're doing.
They bug you enough. You finally just go do it.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you
It's
just
a good marketing campaign. I got to think about that. We're going to go after like the 4 to 10-year-olds to go and hustle their parents instead of for toys to get them to join a health club. And then
we could
we'll
do
get
it.
them a free membership as part of it on the obstacle course.
Every fitness professional in America, the health clubs and trainers and
I like it.
and the equipment manufacturers and distributors, were just to share just one solid message. We had a leader who can say, here's the message. Kids need exercise, not just because the weight lose, they need for social and physiological, psychological enrichment. And it's simple. And you just got to go ask for it. And
Yeah.
parents would actually go to health clubs and go, you know, I'll pay for a club. Somebody just told me what it was worth.
Right.
But oh my God, yeah, I had no idea that they'll be smarter and they'll behave better. Sure,
Like
I'll pay for it. And
maybe
then
we should also market on Nickelodeon. Maybe take out some ads, some commercials on there. Tell your parents instead of them telling you. I like that.
I reached out.
Took an interesting turn in this podcast. I didn't think we were going to go there, but I think we found the silver bullet is like market to the kids.
Yeah, and we could do it in schools with just a message. Yeah, like I said, the industry's got enough connections to actually drive a message, a singular message, out to the people. And if they actually knew this, I believe that they would demand this product, Kids Fitness, and then health clubs could provide it, personal trainers could provide it.
Yep.
It could be product driven after a point, as long as that product is fun and actually productive. And unfortunately, there are kids products out there that are marketed as fitness products that are just little miniature. There's actually gliders for kids and little manual plastic treadmills for kids. And I said, if you make fitness boring or disinteresting, kids will grow up to go, I remember fitness exercise when I was a kid and it sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And all
I remember.
They're gone forever.
Yep, I hear you.
Fitness is a fun and productive, enjoyable activity. We'll grow up and go, yeah, I remember fitness. You know, when I remember that was fun.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. And so Lee, give us a couple of quotes or things that you like to say, or that that has guided some of your professional acumen over the years. We're keeping a little bit of like a quote library. So love to know what resonates with you.
So one of the things that and I've done, and particularly in this kid space, is because in particularly in the physical education world, most of the PE teachers are ex-athletes. Mm-hmm. Their fallback position is introduce and do what they know, and that's introduce sports. And there's an entire part of the physical education world that's going, okay, we need to get away from sports-centric physical education. Because like I say, you can suck at sports. You can't suck at exercise. Mm-hmm. So you keep pushing sports, there's always going to be a loser in sports.
Good point.
You can't lose at exercise. And if kids were all programmed to grow up going, you can't exercise, you can't do that.
Right. Fair point. I like it.
I'd love the exercise industry to kind of, look upon how we introduce ourselves to the potential market. Mm-hmm. I think 260 some million adults in America. By some standards, the recommendation, we got about 60 some million of them involved in the fitness world. What if we were to, instead of spend all of our time trying to sell and retain members, we were to increase market share?
Sure.
We could get another 10 or 20 million new customers. And I think the fitness industry tends to, we got a little block of customers. Mm-hmm. We trade them back and forth depending on what the new trend is. What's hot today? They leave a full service facility, they go to a hot yoga place, then they go to a spinning place, they go over to a hanging, and then they're right back into full service at some point.
Yeah.
That's
All right. Well, let's do it together, and then our new tagline's going to bring you a 10-year-old.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, Lee, it was great talking to you. I'm glad we're able to get this opportunity. Hopefully, meet in person at some point, and let's try and keep changing the world. Appreciate what you've been doing, and hopefully, we can help.
Thank you, Pete.
All right. Have a good one. Listen to some music for us tonight because we're not going to be able to.
Got it. Okay.
Got it. All right, man. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.